Good afternoon and welcome back to Stamp It News. Today we're going to be talking about the Stamp Act. So you might be asking, why did the British pass the Stamp Act? Well, I got the answer for you. So the Stamp Act was passed by the British Parliament on March 22nd, 1765. The new tax was imposed on all American colonists and required them to pay a tax on every piece of printed paper they used. Ships' papers, legal documents, licenses, newspapers, and even playing cards were taxed. The money collected by the Stamp Act was to be used to help pay the cost of defending and protecting the American frontier near the Appalachian Mountains. 10,000 troops were to be stationed on the American frontier for this purpose. The actual cost of the Stamp Act was relatively small. What made the law so offensive to the colonists was not so much its immediate cost, but the standard it seemed to set. In detail, we are going to explain what the Stamp Act was. So, the Stamp Act was viewed as a direct attempt by England to raise money in the colonies without the approval of the colonial legislatures. Few colonists believed that they could do anything more than grumble and buy the stamps until the Virginia House of Burgesses adopted Patrick Henry's Stamp Act resolves. These resolves declared that America possesses the same rights as England, especially the right to be taxed only by their own representatives. The Virginians should pay no taxes except those voted by the Virginia House of Burgesses, and that anyone supported the right of Parliament to tax Virginians should be considered an enemy of the colony. It was an act of the British Parliament in 1765 that exacted revenue from the American colonies by imposing a stamp duty on newspapers and legal and commercial documents. Colonial opposition led to the Act repeal in 1766 and helped encourage the Revolution movement against the Crown.
How did the colonists even feel about this act? Well, they didn't like it at all. The people had no say in the tax whatsoever, so the colonists boycotted the tax items and some even attacked the tax collectors. Now, this act was way different from the previous ones. Let's take the Sugar Act as an example. The Sugar Act was every time you bought sugar, you'd have to pay tax with it. But for the Stamp Act, you had to pay a fee for almost every piece of paper you ever used. Now, they repealed the Stamp Act because of the boycotts. On March of 1877, they decided to repeal the act because on the same day they passed the Decularity Act, giving the British total control over the colonies.
Thank you for visiting Stamp It News.